Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Flank. It has been way too long, but we're finally here. As usual, I'm the host with the most. I'm your favorite brown guy, Velly. We have two guests that you guys have definitely seen before. Colin, introduce yourself, and I'm going to give you the honor to introduce them.
I appreciate you letting me have the honor. I'm Colin Clarke, a.k.a. Best Dressed Man in Gears of War. We all know how it is, but I tonight am joined by two absolute legends in this game, two absolute stalwarts that need no introduction. Nobody needs reminded who they are, what their accomplishments may be. But on the left side of your screen, right next to Velly, you've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Waldo, greatest driver to ever live. That man can take you to every fight and tell you every little thing about this game ever happened. And to his right, possibly one of the greatest snipers to ever live. Possibly one of the greatest men to ever step foot on God's green earth, ladies and gentlemen. God bless live.
You better, yeah, because you know, I'll be honest with you. I came in here, you got the whole suit, jacket, pocket, square.
Right.
Trying to make
every time.
Bad.
We look homeless.
I ain't gonna say nothing. Hold on.
He leaving.
Like, we actually look homeless compared to this guy. Like,
I
it
know,
makes
every
sense,
time.
Waldo.
I
Like just
sit
throw
here
in
and
a
watch.
t-shirt. Have fun. Like,
I got done with
Andrea
the
ain't
gym. I came in the shower. Oh, look at Bell. Guys, like, not about this
Oh,
life.
no.
Shit, I be damned if you make me look bad,
Oh,
motherfucker.
oh, dang.
Don't forget how
Oh,
you got down,
dang.
Fire Squad, let's get it.
All right, so before we get started on things, there's just something that I want to get off my chest. All right. In case you guys didn't know, Deluxe is running the Gears Community Series. So shout out to our co-caster
Big shout
Deluxe. Big shout out. But you know what? I'm a bit upset, man, because you know, in this community, I really feel like we should really lend a helping hand out to each other. We should really support each other in every way possible. And the fact that Deluxe doesn't have 200, 300, 500 retweets on his tournament stuff, and you know, have people promoting, you know, the free money that's going to be put into the tournament just by following a page. I'm pretty upset when not just the community, but also the pros. You know, Gears of War, we're in a vital stage right now where we're heading into a new game. We need to do all we can to help grow the game as best as possible. And we could start off by supporting one of our favorite casters, Deluxe. We have to do better. And in this community, we're the most passionate community out there. There's no excuse. There's no need for jealousy, no need for laziness. This is a time where we really have to pick it up. Before we
Vel, let me piggyback off that real quick, because Deluxe comes to me week in and week out. He says, hey, man, can you help me out? And I'm like, no problem, dog. I got your back. I'll be there. I'll be ready to cast as much as I can. This man is there 2 hours before these games starts, making sure the bracket is together. He's doing it all by himself. He's getting the teams registered. He's making sure that all the bracket works out. He's having to be the rules official. He's having to be the moderator. All I'm there is a talking head full of hot air. And then at the end of the night, around 1:30, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that man is still going strong when he showed up at about 4 in the afternoon, and he's been doing it as long as I could possibly imagine. So
this is Gears UE, just doing community ran events, right? Now, even and back in Gears UE, before I was doing the whole casting thing big, you know, even us as players back then was unappreciative of what we had, right? And now we're here towards the end of Gears 4. We need to be appreciative of everything we got and everything that we're doing and things that we're doing for the community. You know what I'm saying? I got the hot seat this Friday. Me and Drake's gonna be up there, podcast, talking about life, talking about Gears, right? Doing community stuff right after that. Like, you know, because I was the same way where it's like, you know what can I do for our community for us to be active, have things to do, keep people playing Gears? Because I guarantee you, when Gears 5 comes out, it's probably going to be the best Gears there.
Yeah.
Best Gears we ever had.
On top of that?
I say that with my chest because I trust the team over there.
I get to actually help Deluxe for the first weekend ever. The holidays are over. I don't have to work. I get to work with Colin and Deluxe, like my first community cast in the longest time. It'll be a grand old time. But coming from like the end of like community coordinator when I did GearsCon and Hype Festation, you guys gotta help us because we are trying to help you. And if like the Bubba Burger thing, like just retweet it. That's all you have to do.
It's not that hard.
It's $1 every time you retweet it. It's $112 he's made so far to the prize pool for you guys. He's not taking anything back from it. And a lot of the community stuff, they're not making any extra money. We don't get paid to do these shows. We're investing our own time into you guys. Pay it back to yourselves, support each other, and for love of God, like not that hard.
Yeah, it actually makes me sick. And the one thing that people don't realize, a retweet goes a long way. So imagine if all the pros retweeted that. There's a lot of people that don't follow Deluxe. So what if that one retweet, those 2 retweets, got 10 more people involved?
Yeah.
And then those people retweeted it and got 5 more people involved. You see how that starts to add up? It's simple math. I'm terrible at it, but shit, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Just imagine it like the old Brady Bunch screen. You start out with that one little highlighted screen. They have 3 kids. There's 3 more on the screen.
That's exactly what it is, man. But at the end of the day, so support your scene, support your casters, support your tournaments that put money in your pocket when they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it, but they're doing it for you. They're doing it for the longevity of the game, and they're doing it because it's fun, it's passion. Go ahead, do your thing, Blaze. But while Blaze is doing that with the spiffy coat trying to match up with Colin, listen, no contest, Colin. You still win, best dress. Let's jump into the number 1 topic of the day. Yo, Colin, what's up with reciprocity, man?
There's something wrong genetically at the very bottom of the makeup of this team. When I look at this team and I was looking at how they were formed, I said, let me take a hot look. And my man Waldo hit me with some historical facts on. He's got his hand up over there. So I want you to hit me with the history real quick, Waldo, that you hit me with earlier. I want to give a little history lesson to the children.
I like this.
Demo is the biggest catfish in season 2 for Gears of War. Like, he's accomplished nothing and somehow ends up on teams where he's played with people before. I think Kenny and Lava are drunk, honestly. Like, they're like, oh, we're going to go back to this Gears 3. The last time I placed top 2 in that game, I almost finished it off. I was with Clouds. I was with Kenny. I was with Lava. We were great. We're going to do it again. I don't know where this comes from. I really want Demo to be the greatest player. I think if anybody deserves a chip, it's Demo. But for the love of God, please stop putting him on top teams because it just doesn't work out. It's been proven the entire seed of Gears 4. Maybe Gears 5, something changes, right? But as of right now, he has no accomplishments to his name. And I said it to him when we were in Columbus, when we were hanging at Ben's house, and I was like, Demo, you're a catfish. He's just like, I'm the best coach.
You told him that?
Yeah, I did. I said,
I was a witness. I was a witness to that, Velly.
I'm the best coach. And I was like, you're just finessing another team. You're literally just trying to play your cards to play again. It's every time.
I will say on the flip end, and I'm gonna tell you this and play devil's advocate on it. And then you know what? It's not even really playing devil's advocate, right? Because I've always believed Demo on the right team could possibly go out there and win, right? Demo mechanically and with that Gears, he is talented, all right? His biggest issue is that he may bite on too much than what he can chew, right? Especially with a lot of teams. When he was teaming with Excels and he was focused on just being the number 1 slayer on that team and making good moves, he was great, right? He didn't have to think for everybody. He wasn't trying to be the IGL, right? He wasn't trying to be the coach. He was just being a soldier, right? Demo is a soldier to me. And if he has that right IGL around him and that right team, then he can be successful. But the question is that what's that dynamic gonna be? Is Kenny gonna be that leader that I know he is, right? Is he gonna be Lava that speaks up and has he gotten, I feel like Lava's kind of, he's been out that shell, but is he gonna get back to being that number 1, top slayer Lava? Go out there and be that IGL, so we'll see. But they got the pieces around him, right? Lava, Kenny, Demo can slay. Vital, Soto, get dirty work done. Play those dirty roles, but we'll see what happens.
You know what? So Waldo, we all know it's fun to bash on Demo, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay?
I'm usually not, right? I'm gonna start in Mexico. I'm half tempted to make Demo as a catfish T-shirts and sell them outside the venue. Because it's just it should be the meme that it is at this point. And honestly, even if you're looking at the dimensions of that team, it now falls on to Kenny and Lava to step up to another level to be championship caliber players. But you just lost to less than a 24-hour team of a bunch of people that don't really play anymore.
They don't play the game.
And you're sitting here telling me oh, we're going to be a top team. That doesn't make any sense.
No. See, all right. So you're putting a lot of the stress on Demo. This team has been failing before Demo got there. How about we go ahead and take a look at Kenny for once. How about we go ahead and take a look?
Hold on. Before you get crazy with Kenny. Before you get crazy with Kenny. The one person I need to go hard on more than anybody right now, to me, that stands out like a sore thumb is Lava. In Columbus, when you needed somebody from that team to step up, Soto and Vital played perfect counterparts to a Crash and a Pell who could slay out, who could do everything. So now that Crash and Pell are gone, they're back with Reunited. You need two other people to step up and be those kind of perfect slayers, those guys that can head down, get the chunks, get close, make somebody be distracted. Because we all saw Pell hold his shotgun out for about 45 seconds on Diner like a madman, never ever pulling his Lancer out. So now you need Soto and Vital to continue to be those backup players. They did great in San Diego, especially Vital with his homeboys there in the crowd cheering him on, talking all the smack for him. Vital did great in San Diego. He did great in Columbus. Soto did great in Columbus. He did great in San Diego. Affinity standing there making great calls behind him. But then I look at Lava and I'm like, I understand that you found some happiness in your life and your personal life is good and everything seems to be going right. But what the problem is for you right now is the thing that you're holding on to is your laurels and your accomplishments. It's your accolades. You can no longer be looked at as the Lava that won all these championships with Optic Gaming, part of that dynasty that lasted forever in UE that finally went down in Mexico City, and he became the first one to go. You got to be looked at as the Lava who has something all brand new to prove. Kenny's proved himself time and time again.
No, we've been saying that.
We've been saying it, but the problem is that nobody else sees it. Everybody sees the name. They don't see the performance. We have to do a better job. We can say all day that he's not we can do that. I'm talking about the general public has to be able to start looking at that team and stop having faith in them, because we as casters, we as those on the inside analytical can see through the numbers and see that he's not doing the job that needs to be done. The fact is that we have to make sure the general public knows he's no longer that same guy that won all those chips. No. He went through some life changes. He's doing better now, but he has to figure it out again.
I don't think they're hungry enough. I honestly think that is the key moment, the precipice of where we're going. They are not hungry enough to win. They don't want it bad enough. Because I can give you an example. Ready? I was at CWL Vegas, right? And the one player that I kept seeing there 3 hours before everybody else was Jerd from Splice. And he was by himself sitting there in front of the monitor on his PS4 playing every day. Where's that dedication in the Gears player?
He damn near killed his mic. Waldo damn near knocked his mic out. First round knockout, Waldo.
But do you know what the point is?
I personally felt like as soon as Lava believes that he believes that he can be at the top again, he will be there. Because I feel like he's in the best space in his life he's ever been. And that, as long as he, he put that grind on it again and he remember what he can be, then he gonna be there. But
I don't want to hear that.
You knew the hunger was waning, Velly. You knew the hunger was waning when they went to the bingo hall and got retirement demo out of the bingo hall. He was sitting there with his walker. He decided to coach a little bit, but then he went right back into the bingo hall. And I got a new nickname for him. You call him Catfish Demo. It's not Demo. It's Deno. Just Deno. Don't have him on your team. No, don't make him your IGL. Deno.
You know what? I feel like we're bashing Demo was fun, but I feel like we're giving him too much of the blame in this situation. Colin, I don't think so. How about this? So since he got replaced from Optic Gaming, let's yes or no, did he make these teams better when he joined them? United.
No.
Any team after that, did he make him better at all? Lava has not been a factor on any team that he's joined after Optic Gaming at all. When he joined United was primed to be
compete without the gaming.
No, not just Optic Gaming, but United can compete with the top four in general. Lava hasn't made any team he's joined better. All right, so United, have they been a top four team? Statistically, I proved that.
I'm looking back. I'm trying to think back to Lava's entirety on that roster because United is a top four team.
No.
Well, it wasn't top.
Not at that time.
Well, no, because they went back up when they had Rezik and Shock and that roster and Mexico, so they were top four at
You mean Rezik, Shock, Crash, Pell, and Rezik, Shock, Crash, Pell?
Top three team. Ghost and Echo Fox. Ghost, Echo Fox, they couldn't beat them. That's what I meant. Top three. My bad. They couldn't touch him at all, even after they picked up Lava. Them
and Ghost had crazy close series, yo.
Did they beat them? Did they beat them?
They didn't beat them. They were crazy close series.
Close don't matter. Doesn't matter.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Blaze. You got to remember that, baby.
Exactly. And Colin, the one thing that I'm really upset about is that, like, it's the fact that everybody lost their shit when they saw Kenny as a free agent. Vital and his team, they weren't bad. Let's be honest. They weren't terrible. They weren't bad. They were actually pretty decent.
They outsmarted half the teams they played against because Affinity could tell you. If you just shut your brain off and did what Affinity said, Reciprocity won a lot of games shutting their brain off and doing what Affinity said.
Before we run away with this, though, so the fact that, like, that team, playing with Crash and all of them, who are great players, Sam, he's now playing with this roster. If I'm Sam, I'm keeping my ass with Pale in them. Because Sam and Pale and Crash, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? That was a beautiful roster. Like, why make that change? So now, you're on this team where, you have Demo and all them, and you're failing week in and week out in the 2Ks. Like, what needs to happen to this roster?
I feel like somewhere down the line, they need to have that come to Jesus meeting where they're just like, what the hell are we doing? Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, this should have been the first sign. Like, this is the rock through the window that should have, like, holy crap, people hate us, and we just got crushed by a 24-hour team. Like,
Waldo,
what is going on?
Kraz doesn't touch the game. Kraz,
I'm well aware, but
he just picked up a controller and dropped a motherfucking
No. Listen, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't know. I'm going to tell you something about Kraz that a lot of people don't talk about because Kraz was one of those players that we considered one of the best home hill players when he on a Revenge and then onto Allegiance. But the thing that he always was very good at doing is rotating. Kraz would go from his home hill and off spawn as soon as his teammates would come, especially on Reclaimed and Foundation. Yeah. He would rotate through and become a main slayer and not just sit in those positional things and start taking very hard 1v1.
Is that an excuse?
Because what people don't understand
what about Hudson?
Well, no. What people don't understand sometimes is that when you're front in line, right? Who's in the front? Like, people gonna die. People gonna have to rotate their positions out. People, like, when you get good at making that quick transition, when people are dying, picking up home hills, and then the home hill player being aggressive, you become such a better team. There's very few players that actually understand that.
So you're saying that this team actually won because they're just smarter.
Who was the whole team? So can y'all fill me in?
Go ahead. If you want to say it, go ahead.
Go ahead. If you got the top of your head, go ahead.
Noxious Yogurt, Kraz, Hudson, and Avers. I call him Aversa. I call him Avers. I don't know.
Hudson doesn't play the game.
Yogurt, Noxious.
Affinity could have played on that team, and they probably
Yogurt, and Noxious are the closest thing you're going to get to Jerd right now. I just want you to know that when it comes to passion, when it comes to wanting it,
people slander those two. I don't know why. Out of the top circle,
who? Yogurt and who?
Yogurt, Noxious.
They can't slander them.
Oh, you can't.
I don't care. I didn't see. No. What that is not. Maybe I need to take that upon myself and not telling Gears history better because, like, you just like Yogurt and Noxious, like.
Yogurt's one of my favorite
players. They Gears players.
I love Yogurt.
They perform under pressure.
I feel like Yogurt can honestly be on the top 5 teams still.
Yogurt is still very good. The problem is that Yogurt has a terrible connection at home, and online Yogurt is not the same. But when you get to LAN, Yogurt puts up the numbers. It's been like that forever. SYN wasn't trusting Yogurt to make plays online. That was Nasty's job.
You don't even understand. Like, if I could play, I would come back and just pick up all these old, like, Gears 3 players I wanted to play with. Like, all these old school guys. Like, yo, just come over here because I know you a winner. You a champion. You know how to do it, right? I just get 4 grown-ass men who've been playing Gears for years.
They can play still.
This is our time. Okay, let's...
You know what? Shout out to Y Fade. He had a tweet today that had me in tears. He said, I swear Gears pros are fucking environmentalists the way that they recycle pros. When he said that, I lost it, but he was not wrong because looking at the genetic makeup of these teams, and it's like, why? You have so much fresh talent. That's
imagine how many teams we'll have if we just kept picking up new talent. But like, we just picking up new talent and dropping people. Then it'd be so many people that got dropped, and they'd just be revenge hungry making teams.
Yeah, but then they're just like they're untested. I'm sorry. Like, Tower should be the basic example for everybody that we utilize.
Bro, that shit's old. I just want to say it was old back then. Like that online warrior shit, that untested shit was old back then. Now it's a lot easier, right? If I would say anything, it was harder back then because we didn't have the headsets. it was like LAN was a whole entirely different experience. But nowadays, bro, you got all these ways of just talking to each other, bonding with your teammates and stuff. Like, yeah, LAN has always just made somebody better, in my opinion. Okay, not made them worse. You might gotta adjust your sensitivity one or two notches, but other than that, you're good.
Yeah, I completely agree. But before we get into Mexico's 18+ rule, anybody have any closing words about reciprocity or this new God squad in the making with Nax and Yogurt?
If that team shows up to Mexico, I hope that team
they're gonna upset
goes
people.
on a run. Oh,
Versus is really good.
He's still a good gamer, so don't even sleep on Hudson.
I really like.
I don't sleep on any of those people.
Hudson is an absolute shark. He's an absolute shark.
He is a shark.
My last thought on reciprocity, Velly, honest to God, I think at the very end of the day, three or four of those players, I think Vital's the only one that actually doesn't suffer it. I would say 4 of those players have been dropped and traded so much that there might be something going wrong right here.
They forget who they are. They forgot who they were.
That's just my last thought on the issue.
My last thought is that I still, as whatever Timo's demo's on, I'm 100% against until the next game comes out. No faith. I have zero faith in it. I love Kenny. Love Kenny to death, but I have no faith in demo.
Bro, Bounce Brothers, fam. Come on now.
All right, but let's move on to the next topic. Mexico City's 18+ rule, in case you've been living under a rock and you just haven't been caring at all to pay attention to what's happening in Gears of War. In Mexico City, there's a law that passed. Not just Gears of War, every other game that's played out there competitively in Latin America, you have to be 18+. So with that being said, a lot of changes has happened. That means that the likes of Hive won't be competing. You're not going to have players such as Powers, and that's pretty impactful. That's pretty damn long.
Toddy or Zerp will be gone too.
Yeah, and Colin, what do you think is going to come up from this?
So you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see some what I like to call locker room rosters, where probably right before the lock comes out and people need to get their travel done, you're going to see somebody open the door and go, you come with me. We're going to Mexico. Let's figure out how to at least get into the prize pool money. We're probably a pool team based on the fact that everybody seems and their mama can't seem to go. Yeah. The other thing that really worries me about this is I was really looking forward to, with a few months of practice, I wanted to see what Rise could do coming off of that hot.
I think we all did. They got second, bro. I still want to sleep on them without Powers. I'm curious to see what Keem's gonna do, but we'll see.
So with Escamani going to full-time coaching, I believe that's the move they're going to do. Excuse me. They're going to do Escamani to full-time coaching, and they're going to have Keem move into a position. I don't know who they're going to have move up to play where those positions that Powers played. But based on what I watched in the 2K, Keem fills in pretty good because he knows those guys. He's played with them a lot. And he's played with all of them. Detox, Drix.
Actually, Rise made
Rise was a good team.
I'm not saying they're going to fall off a cliff. I'm not saying they're going to fall off a cliff.
No. I just think that I think the pressure role that Powers plays is kind of going to be a little bit of a different dynamic. So you kind of have to look at your other 2 young guns that kind of play up top, play a a little bit more aggressive. So it puts a lot of weight on a backstage and Detox.
They already got the excuse. Their excuse is that Powers isn't there, right? Yeah. Okay, they're going to go out there and they're going to fly, bro.
Yeah, play with no fear.
They're going to fly at everybody with no fear. They're going to be hyped. King going to have those boys hyped, right? They're going to probably look like the same team at the last event, but the fact that they already got the excuse, right, ready, man, Powers wasn't there, okay? You already know what we're going to do with the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually curious on how we'll see if they actually do well. We'll see if Powers do come back.
Yeah, Tony, you might as well highlight the next topic, the new look teams from Mexico City, because we're gonna roll right into that. But I feel like Rise is gonna be all right. When Powers couldn't play, I would have panicked if I were them. So they tried out the likes of Speedy. That didn't work out. You put Keem in the mix, and the shit feels natural. It feels natural. They're top 4 in the 2Ks. They're doing all right. We've had a big break because of December and all the holidays and the weekends that we had off. I feel like there's no more pressure on Rise anymore to repeat. Now it's just on Rise to just play and have fun.
You know why Keem looks so comfortable, Vel? It's something that I've heard you and Blaze talk a lot about, and I think you don't get enough credit for talking about it as much as you do. Keem knows those guys so well, and those guys are so close to Keem that the team chemistry didn't take a hit. If you bring in a brand new person, then you have to figure out how to play with. Your chemistry might take a little bit of a hit. The consistency might go down. But with Keem, with somebody that's been there, that talks to you, that laughs with you, can make the same jokes. You heard him coaching him. Everybody was willing to listen to him when he was the head coach. So I'm sure if he makes a play call, they're going to be willing to listen to him in game as well. The chemistry takes no hit whatsoever, and you can kind of plug and play and just make plays now. You can play with no fear. You can really try your best to go out there and try to do all that is within your power.
Yeah, I completely agree. And taking a look at the other teams that are out there, there's a few notables. You take a look at Reign. I don't know if this is an official roster. Let me know if it is. But Crushmo, Firearm, Hesitate, Musics, Trishan, and Toy Soldiers. Toy Soldier the official fit?
I
believe he is. I believe he's
replacing
Toddy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like that team, to be quite honest. And you look at other teams such as Speedy playing with the likes in the 2K with Neglecting, God Plays, Domes, and Blast. So out of these new rosters that are now being formed, I feel like this is the first event in a long time. We don't really have a solid top 6 anymore. I feel like it's wide open.
I don't know. Well, it is because, again, Roster Mania hit us like a truck, and we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But I think, looking at that, I think Rise will probably be fine. They'll still be up there at the top. If I'm looking at Reign, I think that they have potential of probably being a top 8 team. They are really consistent. We got to see parts of that team, in Toronto, and that was just great. If they could close rounds,
that team could be nasty. That team could be nasty, man. I'm sorry,
like that
you know what? I'm so nostalgic on certain players. I just remember all the highlight moments from all the games that I watched them. And that Reign team could just be nasty. They especially with Q on the team too.
Has a listen to dubstep all time. You don't even listen to his teammates.
We don't give Q enough credit for just what positivity brings to the team and just that type of mindset in those pressure situations. It's always good to have an in-game leader and an emotional leader. And I do believe Q is the emotional leader for that team, and that's a lot to say. If them boys are happy and they eating good that day, they're gonna be cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Domes and Neglecting again. I think I've seen this. I've watched this soap opera happen probably 5 or 6 times this season. I like Blast.
You never rekindled a high flame before, though?
I don't know if it's going to come back, but honestly, I think Speedy could probably do a lot. He's with Kaid. I think that's a good dimension of the team for Slayers, and Blast is honestly one of those up-and-coming players as well. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about Domes and Neglecting on land. Are they going to come up?
Neglecting's good on land. It's just...
It's consistency, right? It's where are they going to go, and is it going to be the same performance the entire event, right?
Well, the one thing you're going to get with Neglecting, you're always going to have a player that shoots for you. So for that team, you need a player like that, and he's that. So I don't feel like he would be the problem. Maybe his attitude will, but his play style definitely not. Because from what I've seen since our Dallas event, Neglecting has consistently played well against top teams when it mattered before they got knocked out. But then you take a look at Blast. We've been saying since his big event with God Plays that, hey, he's next up. But then he's been stuck, with that trio with God Plays and Shock or Demo and top 12. They're not there yet. So we know he can play, but these guys, they just haven't jumped over the hump yet.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have a breakout event, and Mexico's the place to do it. I mean, honestly, the rosters, you're looking at a bunch of new teams. If you're looking to make a name for yourself, that's the place where you should do it, honestly. Yeah. And I think teams having a big losers bracket run actually is a lot of potential here, that there's going to be a lot of bigger sharks than people expect down there. And hopefully, especially with the energy in the room, they're going to be really hungry. Because we were there that last time in Mexico last year about this time, and we were there late watching the games go. And the crowd is a sixth man to the max, especially on those side stations.
No, for real.
Hey, Vel, I was right. I was jotting down some names while I was listening to y'all spit some of your soliloquies so that I could take it in, try to process some of it. Because you actually asked, you said, where do they finish? Do they finish top 8? And after I wrote down about 5 or 6 team names, I said, who else? That's the problem.
No one else.
we got so many people right there chomping at the bit to get to that top 8 because there's so many new teams being made. A team that we actually didn't mention, which I would like to throw out there just for your consideration, as you'd say, is after they went full circle, and as the tweet that you liked so much earlier said, you did a little bit of recycling. Y'all remember that New Orleans Simplicity roster that upset Echo Fox on Harbor?
They picked up Mortifies.
They're back together. It's Morty, Hezzy, Sneak, exclusive, and Xena, and the boys are back in town.
But without
no. Firearm was on that team. Firearm popped off with some.
Well, he's a big part of that team, but he's going to be playing with Rain. But they got to figure something out because they've got enough of those parts back where they're trying to get the band back together. They're trying to learn how to carry that tune in a bucket again. But I was looking back over it, and you said who's top 8. I mean, we can all agree, of course, Optic Gaming Contenders, Rise, Space Station, Latin America Kings. And then literally I wrote down 4 names with I didn't write any particular order to the first 4 or 5, but I literally just started writing out teams. I was like, I have no idea who finishes after this. What happens after these?
Hopefully the Cinderella story. Hopefully every team after that is from LATAM. That's what I hope.
And they can all get upset quite easily. Might I point out, they can all get upset. Quite easily.
What about the huddle? What about LATAM Kings 2? Okay.
Can you imagine if Identives loses early or like late on a Saturday and then comes in early Sunday and says, I got to make a run, and that crowd gets behind them after they wipe somebody on the floor? Could you imagine playing against that?
Beautiful.
The entire venue is going to be jumping. When I first saw that they made this team, I'm like, you literally put the 5 players on the same roster that I've been wanting for so long. The 5, up and coming all-stars that we've seen kind of rise at different times towards different events in that region. And I'm just, when that entire crowd gets behind them, that everybody starts chanting for them, bro, it's going to be hard to beat them. It's going to be hard, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it in Mexico.
Another, if they actually go out, if they travel all the way out there, if they travel all the way out to Mexico and they go as a team of 5, a team that I really believe can make some noise out there. One of my favorite teams to actually watch when I get to see them play. I call them Team Canada as a joke, but Dynamic Jedi Colin and Missives Flash and Raiden. I think if those guys can stay together,
prove it to me,
they can prove, and I think they can prove it to you. If they go out as a team of 5, they travel to Mexico together. I think those 5 guys together have exactly what it takes. They have a great chemistry with one another. They play well together. They make it into top 8 every week in the 2K. They play against a lot of these top teams earlier because of their seeding points, and they show out a lot. They do put up a lot of good fights. So I think having to play in Mexico on land, they could really show out. They could really show.
And sometimes that's the best seed to have in an online 2K. Being in that hardest side of the bracket. Hell, even if I got to get my ass kicked by Optic every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? I'd be looking forward to every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? Every strategy, every adjustment that I'm making is going to be to the best, Yeah. So that's the best practice I'd be able to get, man. I'd be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody welcome Mixan Poppy, Shady, the Astro rep in Gears of War. Colin, you're going to have to sit this one out because Waldo, Blaze, let's talk about how nice these Astro headsets are.
Oh,
fantastic. You know what I'm saying?
Look at these. Look at
there we go, Colin.
I got the black on blue bar, blue background, Chinese edition.
Okay.
850.
Which one we want?
Whites, okay?
Black, white?
He collects them like Jordans.
Don't make me go get my red and white pair because I got them for all occasions. All right?
Yo, I just gotta say.
I gotta make a walk. So
I only use those Astros for gaming. I want you to know that. I only use them for gaming.
No cords. Listen, I just gotta say, man, these A50s wireless joints, the best headsets I've ever owned. Bose, Sennheiser, HyperX. I don't know what those are, man. Astro's the way to go. But true story. Actually, a guy at work, we talk about esports a lot, and he needed a pair of headsets. So I actually referred him to the A40s, and he came back to, and guess what his name is? His name is actually Blaze. His name is actually Blaze. And we talk to him all the time. Korean dude. He's cool as shit.
That's cool.
But I sold him a pair of A40s, and he came back to work the next day. He said, those are the most comfortable and best sounding piece of headphones I've ever had in my life. And I'm not even like hyping this up, but that's word for word what he said. So I want to give a shout out to the Astro rep in the chat and just what they do for Gears of War, because you guys are phenomenal.
Oh yeah. You know how we love Shade. We always got to show this Astro family around here. Nothing else. That's it. All right. That's me all day.
Colin switched his headset. I love it.
I didn't see it. He's been wearing Astros the whole time.
The whole stream. But this is going to be a sensitive debate, as you may. Colin, I'm going to let you introduce this. I feel like you have great wordplay for this next topic. Go ahead, do your thing. I tried it. Oh, we can't hear you. You turn yours on.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me now. All right, I just wanted to make sure. All right, so for this next debate, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually one of my favorite to take part in because, no word of a lie, I've never been the pro. And I'm sitting next to a few guys that have played against some of the best in the entire world over the years. I've never claimed to be a pro, but I love watching this debate. I love watching people talk about whether you go up to 30s, whether you stay down at 20s, whether you go up, whether you go down. And for me, this debate comes down to a very simple, very logical argument. What we got to practice on day in and day out, and what we got to worry about, that's shot registration. And I'm going to let the rest of these guys on this panel talk to you a little bit about what letting people run around like the Tasmanian devil, spinning from one cover to the next, not knowing whether or not he's going to be here or there, looking like Barry Allen the Flash on a map. I'm going to let them tell you about it. I'm going to let them teach you a little bit.
There's something that Node said to you. Oh, man, Node Ryan, what's going on? He said, he took the polls and he said, hey, like almost 60% voted for 30 and above. And so-and-so voted for 20 and below. And he said, we can't go in the past, so let's work what we do. That kind of sat wrong with me. It really sat wrong with me because UGC, shout out to UGC, they're hosting the stream right now. Give this channel a follow. They're going to host the biggest Halo tournament in years. And with that being said, that Halo title was a title from 10 years ago, 11 years ago, okay? Now, Halo 5 had, boost packs and everything where people could, thrust out the way and made things faster, okay? That's kind of the route Gears went in. The Halo community didn't perceive that extremely well. Now, they went back to Halo 3, and Halo 3 is having a tournament where 128 teams are showing up. So when you tell me 144 teams are showing up. I just got an update. Shout out to Tony. 144 teams are showing up. You cannot tell me, don't you dare tell me again that we cannot go in the past, because if this game can do it, I hope that every single console dev are opening their eyes and they're starting to realize that, you had cool ideas and you put it in your game, but right now at this very moment, you got to realize what the real gamers want. You're always going to have people that like a version of, there's people out there that love Halo 5, but more people love the slower gameplay on Halo 3.
Right. You talked about something about going back. I even have a theory, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. And this is all my personal preference, but just that console titles go back to 44, right? They go back to 44 in like the next few years. But we'll see if that actually happens or not. But yeah, I'll let y'all kick off this debate because.
Let me take it.
Yeah, you just start off with it. I do have a big opinion on what I want and why I want it.
Yeah, I got the short end of the straw on this one. Okay, so I wanna give context to this, that this is personal opinion, that this should not affect anything that I have to do with any of my jobs or any of my contracts, because for the love of God, I keep quiet on social media because of these issues. So I've had the pleasure of working with former Halo pros at CWL, and I spent, God only knows, like 3-4 hours at different times talking about what is wrong with Halo, what is wrong with Gears, and it comes down to the same fundamental argument, is that everybody wants to try to push the envelope, to push the game into this next dimension, instead of leaving the game where it fundamentally worked and had the highest outcomes. Now, if you're looking at the scope of Halo, they had all this advanced movement. Now they're going back to this very baseline You know the mechanics. It's Halo. It feels like Halo. Everybody who's our age.
You know what was fucked up at? You know, if you hell, you know, if you go back and you think about it, my issue, and I said this before, I said every year, like, because when we was playing games back in 06 and 05, every year the next game wanted to do something different. They wanted to be innovative. They were trying to do the next thing. They were trying to find that what was going to be hot for the games to blow up. And it affected some great multiplayer experiences, right? And I bet you if all those game developers could go back, and I'm pretty sure probably everybody will probably say it, they'd go back to where they had the most fun, stable version of their game and probably focus all their attention on just microtransactions, right? Microtransactions, online systems, and just, you know, focusing on the longevity of the game that way. But, you know, not adding the extra gimmicks to, you know, have that next cool feature in the game.
Right.
You know,
and
I want to put this out there, just some numbers, and Waldo, you go ahead. So for this 144 player tournament, they're going to have 576 players attending, 144 teams. If that was a 5v5 game, that'd be 115 teams. That's a 30-team difference. And in a grassroots environment, especially when you're trying to grow an esport,
Halo
those numbers.
They're trying to revive. Listen,
Halo back.
Halo is like on life support. This is how bad it is. I'm going to give you Microsoft's, because I've done social media marketing. I know Microsoft's plan. Do you know what game was supposed to release last year? Halo 6. Didn't happen. That's the flagship game. There has never been an instance in history of AAA titles for Microsoft that Gears has launched before a Halo game. That should tell you right there that how much better Gears is in a place than Halo. So thank God, thank you Gears Esports for supporting us and putting up with us and our insanity. Okay, first off. Second off, I do observing for Gears. I have watched the game on all 20s. You will not convince me otherwise that playing like a lunatic on any move is going to work. It is terrible for the viewership. We're trying to grow new viewers. We're trying to tell storylines. Do you know what you can't do when people are flipping around like this, doing spinning circles?
It's hard to follow.
Oh, it's terribly hard to follow. But I will say, I like trolling people every once in a while when I'm observing and watching God plays flip around the screen because it's funny. Honestly, though, it's not the best user experience.
So, my fault. Keep going. I'm sorry. I thought
the game will play fundamentally better. Hit registration. Everything will get improved if the game slows down. When we had original discussions with the coalition, my point was that if we slow the game down 10 or 15%, the game gets better. All of a sudden, you can start playing defensively. You'll start seeing dynamic styles start to come back out. But the problem is that everybody in their base mind says that we should be able to do whatever the hell we want, and I should be able to spin in a circle. Do you know what sensitivities that COD players play on at most? 5.
Every top game. They all
kind of moving up now. Sensitivity. Yeah, but the thing is, they're moving up because they have to, right? Because it becomes one of those things where that if you are able to capably play on that high sensitivity, right? Then you're going to go for it, right? Because you're going to be able to make more interactions. It's a reason why we had Gears players had to jump to 30s just to try to keep up with Optic Gaming on certain situations. Now, I play on all 30s, right? Why? Because that's my preference. I feel like, me personally, I feel like I need to play on all 30s to have to keep up and react quickly. But like I said, that's my personal preference on that one. But the thing is that the hard part about it is that when you implement something like that, you have to be such a badass to be able to take it away and say, no, you have to go back and play on something slower. I can't even fathom right now if I have to play on if I have to play on 20 sensitivity. But I'm one of those people where I think that I want a more slower paced game, a more viewer friendly game. I just want more viewers for Gears, right? And that's how I think about it. And how are we going to grow the game? How are we going to grow the esport? How are we going to make it funner? I do want a more tactical Gears, right? I miss the days of Gears 2 where we had 3, 4, 5 different strategies per map, of things that we were going to do, or per side, if that, depending on the map. I miss those days, and I don't like when you know, if you guys ever watch my stream, I always find myself in situations where I'm about to fight this guy. Now, I walk into the fight with my old school mentality where I'm just like, all right, I got a lot of distance with this guy, right? I said, let me have my Lancer out. I'm gonna outthink him. Yeah, you got card open, Lancer. Like that, he cuts the distance. Now, I'm in a situation where that if I switch to my shotgun, by the time it comes out, I'm chunked. I can't just blind fire Lancer this guy in this situation, and I'm done, right? And then I feel like a jackass because I'm just up here like, bro, I tried to play smart in this game, and I got punished for it, right? Because I tried to play too smart, and then the whole time I should just had my shotty out going crazy. But I don't like that style, but that also translates to how people watch the game, right? And that doesn't look good either, right? Because new viewers come in and be like,
why did you switch? Like,
hey, Blaze, real quick, can I ask you a question from a student of the game standpoint and have you as my teacher explain to me and therefore explain to most people who don't realize, because I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but whenever somebody says that, why are we talking about it now? We got to play on high sensitivities in Gears 3. I believe Gears 3 had something with the Lancer that stopped you from head downing.
Bro, you know what? I would say it like this. From playing hardcore in Gears 2 and Gears 3, I never thought I would say I missed stopping power, but I do.
I'd never miss stopping power. It should not be in the game. I don't ever want to hear that again. You know why? No. Colin, you're not going to talk right now. No. Be quiet. Close your mouth.
I just want to ask something.
No. It makes me sick because I'm so sick and tired of this put a fucking Band-Aid on it culture that we have in this game. No, let's stop putting Band-Aids on things and take out the real reasons why we have stopping power. If we didn't have this crazy movement, we wouldn't need stopping power.
We had stopping power.
Imagine Overwatch or Call of Duty with stopping power. Okay, in Gears 2, hate to say it, unpopular opinion, I didn't like that game, and a lot of teams didn't show up to events for that. That's why San Diego had a poor turnout. Now, other than that, to touch on the topic that you're talking about, Blaze, like, okay, go ahead.
I want to let Waldo go before you came off the topic.
My bad, okay. I got upset.
Okay, so I'm going to point out, wall bouncing was not meant Gears of War at the foundation in Gears 1 was meant to be a stop and pop shooter. Yeah. It is. It's meant to be played like paintball. I hate to break it to you guys. That was the original design concept. We figured out how to manipulate the movement.
Velly was slapping everywhere.
To jump around and jump into people, and we figured out how to wall bounce. In Gears 2, the devs, Epic, thanks for this one, decided we don't like how the game went. So we're going to enable a mechanic to stop you from doing that. So we're going to give newer players who've not played Gears of War before a gimmicky tool that we're going to let the bullets slow people down that are head down and you are bouncing off walls. Wow. It is not a good mechanic. Instead of just fixing the movement system, which is the foundation, which we've been trying to do all of Gears 4, we've been trying to put in gimmicks of, we need to do more damage on the guns, we need to make sure that the bullets actually slow people down.
What's the real problem?
The problem is the movement system. And if we fix the movement system, then we can take a look at everything else. That is my main argument. And honestly, we've gone in a better direction.
Gears has evolved. It's not. We can't call it just a cover pop-up shooter anymore at this point.
No, it's not. It's not.
He's saying at the very beginning, day one.
That was
real quick. I just want to say, Velly, I wasn't telling you to put stop power in the game. I was just tired of seeing people say, why was it a problem in Gears 3? I just wanted people to understand.
I got hyped up.
There was a reason why it wasn't.
No. My thing was, I don't know if stopping power is my word, but I want my Lancer to do more damage, right? I just want to outsmart people with my rifles, right? If I want to be tactical, you know what I'm saying, and not have to have all these close range combats, I need my base long range weapons to get the job done for me.
Then take out the cheap gimmick that allows them to jump out of bad situations at any given second. No, if you're in a bad position, your ass should get punished for that. You shouldn't have a getaway free card whenever you want, just by slapping the A button and left or right on your phone.
Exactly. Like, people hit shots, that shit just needs to do some damage. Okay?
Yeah. It's true.
Well, if they can't move and bounce as fast, then that wouldn't be an issue.
But there's hit registration problems that we've talked about where
But besides that.
But when the player moves first, the way that the movement system registers, and people need to understand this, is when you make the first move, you are moving before the player realizes it when you're making those decisions. So you have a competitive advantage for being aggressive. You are not allowed to play defensive well in this game.
And it sucks. That sucks so bad because
kids are so dumb.
I was set up on kids, bro. Set up on kids I was
about to throw that out there, Blaze, and Velly can speak to this. Do you know how many people actually thoroughly, and one of the best games to watch right now, people enjoy watching a team dominate you, not in the 3-hill cap because I bounced all the way to your hill and killed 3 people. They love to watch a team like bang their head against the wall of, we have the 2 hills, we know how to rotate properly, watch us lancer you as you come in, and then one person has to hit one shot. That's why the game that Velly has now associated himself with, because he's really good at what he does over there with Rainbow Six. People love that game because you can play very intelligently in that game.
And I think and that very intelligently, and you have more depth as well, more strategy. And that attracts people, you know. Yeah. I miss you
goes up.
Bro, I miss just coming up with strats and throwing our smokes in different places and different initials. Like I just miss the strategy that execution had. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I would love to try to, you know, Escalation still has some strategy. Don't get me wrong. You still have your openings, right? You still have your opening strategies, but you know, I
still don't think that it's to the level that it should be.
It's not at the level of what it used to be. It's some strategy there, but it's not at the level of what it used to be.
We're still playing cookie cutter like base strat gears, and I
probably got my own strategies on one of my old hard drives in this computer right over here too. So I always save my hard drive.
Yeah, no, my thing is, so I've been playing a lot of Siege lately, and like even when I came back, my girl, she said, you know what? She said, I actually understand everything that's going on, and it's so much easier to read and understand. She says, when you're at Gears events, she's like, with all the smokes and people flying, like it's too fast. I don't understand what's happening. Like it's just people flying and shooting.
And is this your girl after watching the Siege event you did?
Yes, she watched it, and she said like it's just a lot of flying. It's hard to digest. And then when you ask other people about it, like it's the same conversation every single time. So how, like, the fact that it's literally word for word the same conversation with other people that don't play the game, when you show them the game, that has to be looked at. What do they say? Smokes and movement. Like,
smokes and movement.
I've been preaching about smokes for how long now, Waldo?
Probably forever, but I mean, I've said the same thing, is that especially in the observer mode, like this is something that I've brought up multiple times, is that the smokes need to, at least in the observer mode, like we need to have like smokes have to have like an opacity decrease so we can see where the players are, because I shouldn't be interfered with something that the players see, right?
Maybe smoking the casters, shit.
Right, like the casters can't see anything. We can't see weapons. Like,
yeah, that was a good smoke. I can't see shit.
So you're looking at the fundamentals like that, and one of the biggest things, and again, I get it, like other people don't understand that we're trying to grow the viewership. You need to understand what esports is. Esports is marketing, and we're trying to market it to other people, new people. We want new eyes on our game.
Bro, I want to say, Ashley said it, yo. Ashley said it in the chat, and it annoys the hell out of me. Okay, I don't know why the fuck the smoke shake the cameras. Even a player camera, smoke's just shaking. They shake the spectator cam.
And there's not just one smoke happening at a time. We're talking about 4 or 5 smokes going off at once. All you see is and it's like, yo, chill. Like, I'm trying to watch the game. So I've campaigned against smoke grenades for years now. Literally, something has to be done. We shouldn't spawn with stuns, period.
I think now I'm on a difference of opinion because I'm a tactical player, mind you. I think that having a choice of loadout of whether you can have a vision control smoke or having a stun grenade, you get a choice of one. You can choose one. Not everybody is going to carry not everybody's going to take a stun.
One stun grenade.
Well, I don't know. I like having options like that create depth.
You're going to have more depth in the game.
Create depth and strategy, right? And I just complain about us
more than one stun. I'm going to flip out.
Because you need to talk about it like resources, okay? And this is the best way to talk about it. If you have 5 people on the team, they at most can run 5 stuns. But you know that they're throwing stuns because there's no vision control. So nobody should be running 5 stuns. You get what I'm saying?
It should be a 1 stun cap. Select a player that has it. I just feel indifferent about it.
But what you mean? No, it's a lot different. Let the players decide. You know, let the players decide. The most important thing is just having them separated, right? most important thing is having them separated.
It's possible.
Because as soon as you have them separated, if it wasn't good competitively, you could just ban the shit out. Okay?
The most important thing is that I don't have to watch the bull fight with 10 smokes ever again.
Yeah, that's
the most important thing.
Even if I get 2 less smokes, I'd be happy.
I will never forget, in Gears Judgment, they did for 1 week, because I was working with Jim Brown. You guys did it as well. For that 1 week, they made the smoke stun literally like a 0.2 millisecond thing just to get people off of cover. Like a 0.1 or a 0.2 millisecond. And we're talking about like post Gears 3 physics. That was fun. And then they brought the stuns back.
Because it's how everything is, you know. We get something and we like it, and then it's gone forever.
There's no. It takes away all of the smart fights in the game. Like you take a look at Foundation, the initial is a mess.
It's the same thing every time, and honestly, I think that this
and is that one of creates the same thing every time on every map, and it takes away strategy because.
But I think the other problem with this, and this goes back to the players and the way that they practice, is that they've seen Optic Gaming do it so many times, they just try to replicate that, and no one's being innovative. And we're towards the tail end of the game now. And for 2 years, I've watched base strats, and Colin has asked me questions on the deck all the time, and it irritates me to watch players play the game, but they refuse to try to be innovative and change things up. You don't have to fight for every position, right? You can change the map. You can send people to float. You can run different flanks, different looks. The problem is that everybody is so used and stuck in their ways to playing this game the way that they feel like it should be.
Yeah. I remember, man, I didn't see a lot of players that come up and, I remember them when they were on fucking 20s. I remember them when they were on 30s, and believe me, the ones that's on 30s now do not want to go back down to 20s. But I do want to say is that where does everybody fall on this? Do you, on answers, do you believe that you should be able to go above 30, stay at 30? You want it at 20? You want high, medium, low back? What is y'all thoughts on that? Final thoughts on it, because I know we talked about everything, what goes on. But
we got to wrap it up.
I said, honestly, this is where I think it should go. I've seen the game. I've watched scrims between top teams on 20s. It is actually Gears of War. Like what we would be accustomed to watching is Gears of War, because you can't do certain movement mechanics. You can't flip your camera around. You can still hit reaction shots and things like that, but it is a much easier and digestible game at a slower pace. I want 20s. Now, that, mind you, I don't care if it goes lower than that. I just don't want people flying around and thinking that you spinning and you manipulating the movement system to your advantage is actually skill-based.
I just want to say this real quick in the chat. I see Rainbow Six Slander about to blitz. So, okay, if a blitz is running at you, that's why you have a Legion and a smoke. Just remember that. But go ahead, Blaze.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm like, we done already did the worst we can. We can't go back, right? We can't go back.
What do you mean we can't go back?
I'm to 20s. I don't want to go back to 20s. Okay. I'll be honest with you. Take your headset off, motherfucker. I don't care. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go back to 20s, okay? I say you just can't go back. You have to keep 30s. But if I personally could fly my shotgun round on 30s. Okay? Easy, right? Shotgun, big targets, okay? Force me to have to be precise. Find other ways to make me want to lower my sensitivity, or find other ways to do something about it. I said we can't go back from 30s at this point for me. I feel like it's other ways. I feel like it's other ways to fix the problem.
Say that to Halo. Do you think Halo is a fluke? That they went back to the slowest game in Halo history? Do you honestly think that, Blaze?
No. So what was the sensitivities in Halo 3?
No. Movement in general. Movement.
Slow.
Yeah, like 1 to 10. That's basic. That was basic.
I'm not talking about sensitivity speed. I'm talking about actually walking. You're talking about the slowest Halo game in history, probably.
Okay, you're talking about base movement speed. The sensitivity still could have went up to fucking 10.
But I mean, going back in time, we're looking at the difference. Look at the popularity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying, Velly. I'm not saying I don't want a slower game. Okay. I'm not saying I want a more tactical game. I'm just saying that you got to find a different way to do it between dropping back down to 20. Because I don't. 20 might not be the magic answer.
Take away.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I want to get to the same point you want to get to, but changing the sensitivities is not it.
We're gonna take away the air bounce.
I don't fucking know, but shit, I don't want to. I ain't leaving 30s. Shit, you want to find a half a medium, cap it at 25. All right.
You want to have a medium like glue. Every time they wall bounce, they just like stick, and you can't
take away air bounce then.
I mean, that's
Colin, what's your opinion?
I think you need to drop. I think you got to drop it to 20s, and air canceling is a cancer to the game. That's just.
Thank you, Colin. So I'm not the only one that thinks air canceling is bad. You keep your sensitivities high.
But then again, that's why I said I didn't want to answer the question, because I can't do that shit, and I'm terrible with the fucking game. So for me, it would benefit me to say something like that. That's just. So for me to say that, it's biased.
It's one or the other, to be honest. It's either sensitivity or air. It's one of the two. Like that. That's literally it. Everybody talking about like stopping power and stuff. Like take that shit out the conversation.
You said it's one or two, man. I'm just saying that tweaks
How do you fix that flying culture in Gears of War then?
Like I said, you know, if I could play with my brains, okay, and I can actually use my rifles, I would be happy. I don't mind hitting shots. I can hit shots. Hitting shots is not an issue. I just hate the damage, man. Okay, I just wish I had more Lancer damage. I love core. Y'all watch me play King of the Hill all the fucking time, right?
I'm 200% with Colin.
Okay, so I play. That's why I love fucking core. Okay, and that's the difference between core and competitive. Okay, core you can down somebody with one Lancer. Competitive it takes two. All right. Okay, it takes more team fire, and people don't have that team fire. Not everybody's wolf pack and run around, but even that's cool. That's more of a team thing, you know. But I'm just saying shit. So it's okay. Hey, I'm all about two things, right? Increasing viewership, getting a 120. Those are the main two things I'm about. Okay, whatever we can do. I want a fun game to watch, and I want us all on 120. However, whatever I gotta sacrifice and meet in the middle to get those two things, right? To actually try to build the viewership on all of this and you know make our esport great, I'm all about it. This is that. My own personal reasons are out of it.
Some people might laugh at you for saying that you love playing King of the Hill. Something that happened to me about a couple weeks ago. I was playing and I was streaming some Gears early in the morning. I actually had a chance to play with, my opinion, one of the smartest players in the game, Kenny Bounce. He let me invite him. He played regular team deathmatch with me, core team deathmatch. After the very first game we played, he said, "Holy shit! If the competitive shotgun was like this, we could get diverse play styles." Because it was the first time he said I ever shot somebody and watched them get into cover. He said, "I have never in core shoot somebody and have them run away." He said, "In core, I hit that kid and he ran for the nearest."
I've had to watch my personal play style change from so many different gears to just keep up with the players and just watch the play style change. Very few people have experienced that and played every Gears at that high of a level, okay? And I'm just letting y'all know it is other stuff that could be done, and our game does need to slow down a bit, however that is, because if it gets faster or stays where it is,
no. Hey,
shit,
God bless.
Yeah, y'all shit. I'm all about improvements, man. It's just as simple as that. Look at bigger picture, people.
Yeah, we hit an hour, so let's get to the finite predictions. We're taking a look at contenders going up against Optic Gaming again. Quick predictions and tell me why. Do you guys think contenders could get 2 in a row?
No.
I'm going last.
Yo, Big Billy about to play tomorrow. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Billy about to really play tomorrow. Okay, he always like Gilbert be taking my kills. Solars be taking my kills. Okay, they ain't even gonna be there tomorrow. Praise always be saying the same shit too. Okay, they about to drop bombs. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be sad too. Because me and Velly gonna be having to sit there, and Velly, you gonna have to be like, somebody gonna be out there watching like, ain't this a pickup team? Ain't this a fucking pickup team? In my soul, I want contenders to win just so everything can be right in the world and I don't have to explain why the fucking pickup team won. That's what I don't want to do. Okay? Because I just don't want to have to give that explanation to nobody, even though I know I'm have to, so I'm preparing what I gotta say.
I know Optic's gonna bring it. I really hope contenders beat them because we need someone to really sit Optic down. Someone needs to sit their ass down and say, "All right, I'm the captain now."
Waldo, take it because I'm going last. I need you to take it.
it's not even Optic. Like, it's 3/5 of Optic. That's 60%. Congrats. Like, your second win is 60% of Optic Gaming. Congratulations.
Bro, like, they have nothing to win but, like, lose. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Contenders lose.
And so that's why
that's like
and Praise are about to drop 40 each.
They don't even care. Like, it's free. They won enough 2Ks. They don't even care. They're just going to play the Contenders. The Contenders can't lose. That's how bad this is.
Bro, Contenders have so much pressure on them not to lose that game, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. They have so much pressure. That's why I think they...
You won the last 2K of last year, and now you've got to come back, and you're only playing 60% of Optic, but you're supposed to win.
Wait, who's sitting out?
Explosive are not there.
Bro,
who's playing in their spots?
Toddy and Zerk.
People that's gonna be a little warrior squad. Yo, I like that.
All right.
Can't say that they're supposed to Optic. This is what it is. It's a no lose for Optic. It's a wash. Contenders lose, triggered.
Yo, if Contenders lose, it's a wrap.
That's why I put it to you the way I put it to you in the DM this morning, Velly. Can Contenders stand to lose on Fight Night this week? I wrote it exactly like that for this very specific reason. Because when I looked at how they were playing in the 2K, how they've been playing over the past couple of weeks, Contenders has been on fire. They've been beating everybody left and right. It doesn't matter what position you've been putting them in. It doesn't matter who they've been playing against. They have been on top of the world for the past few weeks. And now they go into Wednesday's Fight Night, and they're only playing against 3 out of the 5 members of Optic. But at the end of the day, since the team change happened and Optic got what we all started joking around and calling them the Infinity Gauntlet of players on their team, with Ashes leading them into the golden age of how they've beaten everybody senseless, and we thought Ghost in San Diego was playing so hot, and then Optic did so good against them that they didn't even get up and get hype. So tomorrow, I worded it as, can Contenders afford to lose it? Because if Contenders loses to Praise, Summon, and Mental, the reality, the space, and the Power Stone of that Infinity Gauntlet, God only knows what will happen on Thursday.
Bro, Explosive's going to come back home with the biggest head, like, oh, I see everything still in order as when I left, huh? Okay, everything all good? I should have stayed on vacation another week. Shit. Okay? He gonna be feeling good. He gonna be so cocky in Mexico City. It ain't even funny. I ain't gotta do nothing. I let these 3 do it all. So ain't even gonna show up.
You really have to think about that, because to me that puts a bit of pressure on the Contenders. You can't lose this. It's just a fight night. It's just a fight night. But
it's not just a fight night.
You're about to play 3 of your 5 biggest rivals. You cannot lose this game. You cannot do it, especially because they've got 2 kids on the team that have nothing to lose. They're not going to Mexico City. They've got nothing to lose. All they're going to do is go out there.
Zerting's in the desert. Toddy is like in purgatory right now.
Like, bro, nobody has anything to lose with this team, and they're gonna fly so hard. Yeah. It's not even funny.
Mental and Toady, that's
you better pray that you do not lose this game. I don't know what God you are on your knees to at night, but you better pray to each and every one of them.
I hope they're not watching this.
Not drop this.
I want to put that pressure on them.
Hey,
I don't want to put that pressure on them because I want them to win it. I really do. I want Contenders to win. I need them to win because I hate how the storylines are all out of whack. Because then when it comes down to Mexico City, somebody's gonna ask me, "Can Contenders beat Optic?" And I want to be able to give a convincing answer. I don't want to be on that desk and be like, "Nah, Optic gonna win this shit, man." You know, they won the 2K with 60% of the squad 2 weeks ago. Jesus. They looking good, you know.
You need to put the pressure on him because, again, think about it. Rezik, every time he plays Optic on LAN, it's like a fucking origami session. He folds. He folds. Every time these kids have gone against Optic, something's gone to complete.
Well, I mean, Rushy's what, 0-13? That's a good record to hold, right? That's
not.
You're looking at a team. There's 3 players on that team that went like 0-10 at a minimum before they got their first kill against Optic. 3 of them.
Don't get me wrong. I want to see franchise win this game. Everybody in the community jokes about it. He'll always be my favorite player. I want him to win this, but I want him to feel like this is for $1 million because at the end of the day, when he goes to Mexico City, it is going to be like this, but worse because explosive and friggin' Solars are coming back next week. You ink.
You know what? I ain't worried about Fran. I think Fran's gonna do Fran type thing. Very few players have played against that Optic Gaming roster as many times as Fran. Fran might have played against him the most times out of anybody in the league. You know, so and he stays composed. So we'll do that. But that shit funny.
All right, man. So that pretty much wraps up it for On the Flank. But any last words from anybody out there?
Man, you know what? Hey, I appreciate being on the show. It was a fun one. It was a good one. Yo, all hail 30s. What's up? 30 gang out there, but none but love. I'm about to kick off the stream. But, hey, I will say the hot seat this week, okay? Me and Drix are going to be doing a little podcast one-on-one action, all right? I retweeted it. Go to Epic Forums. Any questions that you guys have afterwards, we're going to be doing some try-hard customs back and forth. I'm trying to get the people on the Epic Forums involved in it a lot too as well because I'm just the Gears Forums, because we just trying to grow that fan base. You know what I'm saying? Grow that Gears fan base and have some good games, but also give you guys some good content. I'm pretty sure it'll be fun. So check that out. Friday the 11th, 6 Eastern.
All right, well, DZ, what you got to say, baby?
Hey, thanks. I made it back. New year, new me, right? So hopefully we see some new faces at the Gears events as well. Mexico City's up upon us. I'm excited to be back with the family again. Thanks for having me.
All right, yo, Colin, say your bit.
I'm too old for this. I'm gonna have a heart attack getting excited about it. I think can do this. Look, I'm gonna end the night on this. Velly, as always, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me co-host the show with you. The greatest thing that's probably ever happened to me once I got into this community. But all thanks goes to Blaze for helping me get into it in the first place. I love you like a brother, Blaze. Baby. You're the single greatest person I've ever met probably on the face of the planet when it comes to how nice you are, how polite you are, how intelligent of a conversation you can hold. You are a god amongst men, and don't let anybody ever tell you differently. Waldo, I would do anything in the world to have your brain, baby. It's an encyclopedia. You can trap so much knowledge up there, and you can convey it in such a way that every single human being under God's green earth can understand it. Thanks for being our guest. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Ooh. Yeah, I felt that, Colin.
All right, for all the viewers out there, I want to thank you all once again for tuning back in On the Flank. It's been like damn near a month since we've last been on. Jarul Guru, you asked a question. You were asking why I have some people that disagree with me or don't like me. Well, in Gears of War, I can say that now. In Gears of War, I'm very outspoken. I have the unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion rubs people the wrong way sometimes. Do I care? No. That's why I like who I am, because I'm not afraid to say what I actually believe in. I don't care who gets hurt about that. With that being said, R-Step and all the other Rainbow Six fam, thank you for coming into the gear side of things. This is what we do. This is how we talk. I love everybody in here. Also, at the end of the day, support your community, okay? Guys, go ahead, go to Deluxe's page, retweet his tournament. If you're a pro and you haven't retweeted it, then that's pretty damn embarrassing that you're not helping out your own game with this growth, because that one retweet can be seen by 20 people. And let's say if, 2 of those people retweeted it and then one person retweeted it and just kept going on. You see where that goes? That's growth. And that's how you grow your game. All right. So with that being said, I just want to say I love every single one of you. We're going to go ahead and host Drix, but that's pretty much it from all of us. The talent for Gears of War. We'll see you next time. We'll see you on Friday. Friday. What is it called, Blaze?
Oh, yeah, on the hot seat, y'all. Hot seat. Twitch.tv/Blaze. Boom, got you. We'll see y'all on Fight Night too, y'all. Peace.
Y'all be
Peace.